What if I told you that the biggest, most hyped technological revolution of our lifetime, the one promised to usher in an age of unprecedented efficiency and profit, is currently built on a foundation of sand? What if the frantic race to replace humans with artificial intelligence isn't a brilliant strategy, but one of the most expensive and catastrophic blunders in modern corporate history? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the AI gold rush. We're going beyond the flashy headlines and the soaring stock prices to reveal a story of widespread failure, deep regret, and the devastating human cost of moving too fast. This isn't a story about the future. It's about the harsh reality that's unfolding right now, and the numbers are staggering. Picture the scene. It's a boardroom high above a glittering city skyline. The air is thick with ambition. On one side of the table, you have the titans of industry: Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. These aren't just companies. They are empires, and they are all locked in a ferocious, high-stakes arms race. The weapon of choice? Artificial intelligence. The directive from the top is clear and ruthless. Automate everything. Replace call center agents, content creators, logistics planners, even software coders. The promise is intoxicating. A workforce that never sleeps, never complains, never asks for a raise. A world of pure, unadulterated efficiency. The acceleration has been breathtaking, far faster than anyone predicted even 5 years ago. It felt like we were witnessing the dawn of a new era. But then, the data started to trickle in. Quietly at first, then like a flood. A landmark survey from one of the world's most respected technological institutions, MIT, delivered a verdict so brutal it should have stopped everyone in their tracks. It found that of all the ambitious, expensive, and disruptive AI deployments happening across the globe, only a minuscule 5 to 7% were delivering any measurable success. Let that number sink in. That means for every 20 companies pouring millions, sometimes billions of dollars into AI systems to replace their workforce, 19 of them are failing. Up to 95% are not just underperforming. They are outright failing to deliver on their core promises. Imagine if 95% of new airplanes crashed on their first flight, or 95% of new medicines were ineffective. There would be global outrage. Yet, in the world of AI, this catastrophic failure rate has been papered over by a relentless wave of marketing hype. This isn't just a small gap between expectation and reality. It's a chasm, a canyon so wide that entire corporate strategies are falling into it. The dream of a perfectly automated future has collided with a wall of harsh, undeniable truth. Failure on a spreadsheet is one thing, but what happens when these failures spill out into the real world, affecting real people? The consequences are not just financial. They are deeply personal, and they are eroding the one thing that no company can afford to lose: trust. An eye-opening survey by Orview, a market research firm, drilled down into the emotional fallout of this failed experiment. It found that a staggering 55% of companies that had replaced human employees with AI systems now openly regret their decision. This isn't just buyer's remorse. This is a profound and costly realization that they made a terrible mistake. And you don't have to look far to see the evidence. You've probably experienced it yourself. Think about your last trip through a McDonald's drive-thru. You're in a hurry, you place your order with a robotic, slightly tinny voice, and you get to the window only to find that your vanilla ice cream has been inexplicably topped with bacon. Or worse, you check your receipt and discover you've been overcharged for items you never even ordered. This isn't a random glitch. These are the documented, widely reported failures of an AI system that lacks the most basic human ingredient: common sense. It can process words, but it cannot understand context, nuance, or the simple fact that bacon doesn't belong on a McFlurry. Or consider Taco Bell, another fast food giant that jumped headfirst into AI-powered ordering. Customers reported a chaotic symphony of errors, orders getting mixed up, items being omitted, and a system so unreliable that frustrated employees often had to intervene anyway, defeating the entire purpose of the automation. For a customer, these experiences are frustrating, but for the corporation, they are devastating. Each error, each moment of confusion chips away at the foundation of customer trust. Leaders who once championed a robots-first mentality are now facing a terrifying realization: AI's unpredictability and its complete lack of situational awareness are not just bugs to be fixed. They are fundamental flaws that can poison a brand SES reputation and send loyal customers running to competitors who still value the reliability of a human touch. The quest for cost-cutting has led them straight into a brand-destroying crisis. If you want a perfect, self-contained story of AI hubris and its disastrous fallout, look no further than the fintech company Clara. In the world of finance, trust and reliability are everything. Clara decided to bet its entire future on AI. The company's leadership, led by CEO Sebastian Siemiatkowski, made bold public pronouncements about an AI-driven future. They weren't just dipping their toes in the water, they were diving headfirst into the deep end. The results were not just bad, they were catastrophic. The experienced, empathetic human agents who could navigate complex financial problems were gone. In their place was a rigid, often confused AI system. Suddenly, the time it took to resolve a customer's problem, a lost card, a fraudulent charge, a simple account query, skyrocketed by 27%. Imagine the panic of seeing a strange charge on your account and being forced to navigate an endless, unhelpful chatbot loop instead of talking to a person who can fix it. This frustration boiled over. Customer dissatisfaction, measured through surveys and feedback, surged by an incredible 35%. The company's reputation, once a key asset, was now in free fall. The very customers Clara needed to survive were now its most vocal critics. It didn't take long for the cold, hard reality to set in. Within months of his bold AI pronouncements, CEO Sebastian Siemiatkowski was forced into a humiliating public reversal. He had to stand before his remaining employees and the world and acknowledge the monumental failure. His words were a stunning admission. We have realized that quality human support is the way of the future. The grand experiment was over. Clara learned a billion-dollar lesson in the most painful way possible. In the complex, emotional world of customer service, you cannot automate empathy, you cannot automate understanding, and you cannot automate trust. You'd think a tech-savvy, app-based company like Duolingo would be the perfect candidate for successful AI integration. They live and breathe technology. Their entire platform is digital. So, when they announced an AI-first strategy to generate their learning content, replacing a significant number of human contractors and translators, it seemed like a logical next step. The goal was to scale content creation at lightning speed. Instead, it scaled chaos. The AI, left largely unchecked, began churning out educational material riddled with errors. We're not talking about minor typos. We're talking about fundamental mistakes in grammar, incorrect translations, and nonsensical sentence structures that confused learners instead of teaching them. An internal audit revealed a shocking figure. 42% of the AI-generated course material contained significant errors. Imagine trying to learn a new language, and nearly half of what the app is teaching you is just plain wrong. It's worse than useless. It's actively detrimental. You're not just failing to learn, you're learning incorrectly, embedding flawed knowledge that will be incredibly difficult to undo later. The users, who are the lifeblood of Duolingo's platform, noticed immediately. The app's forums and social media channels were flooded with complaints. The carefully crafted learning experience that had made Duolingo a household name was crumbling. The numbers told the story. User retention, the metric that shows how many people keep coming back to the app, plummeted by 18%. Duolingo AS rush to automate had stripped away the most critical element of its product: educational accuracy. They had prioritized the speed of content generation over the quality of the content itself. It was a stark and painful lesson that even for a company built on algorithms, the human touch of a knowledgeable expert, a translator who understands cultural nuance, or a teacher who knows how people actually learn, is irreplaceable. Unchecked AI didn't just fail to improve the product, it actively damaged it. For decades, the name Sports Illustrated was synonymous with legendary sports writing. It was the home of authentic, passionate, and deeply human storytelling. It was where you went not just to find out the score, but to feel the drama of the game, to understand the heart of the athlete. Then, management decided to experiment with AI-generated journalism. The articles that began appearing on the website were, to put it mildly, an abomination. They were factually incorrect, often mixing up player stats, team histories, and even the basic rules of the games they were covering. But beyond the factual errors, they were utterly soulless. The writing was flat, generic, and devoid of any emotion or insight. It read like a book report, written by a machine that had learned the vocabulary of sports, but had never felt the roar of a crowd or the agony of a last-second defeat. The loyal readership, people who had grown up with the magazine, reacted with a mixture of ridicule and fury. They felt betrayed. This wasn't their Sports Illustrated. The fallout was swift and brutal. The website's traffic crashed by a staggering 40%. Readers abandoned the site in droves, but the damage didn't stop there. The use of AI-generated content, some of which plagiarized or misrepresented information, led to a cascade of legal troubles, costing the publication $5 million in legal damages and settlements. The experiment was a spectacular, self-inflicted wound. In a desperate attempt to stop the bleeding, the publication was forced to make a massive course correction. They reinstated 90% of their human writers, effectively admitting that their venture into AI journalism was a complete and utter failure. Sports Illustrated learned, in the most public and humiliating way imaginable, that authenticity cannot be automated. You can't code passion, you can't program insight, and you certainly can't generate the kind of human storytelling that makes sports and life so compelling. So, if the failure rates are so high and the consequences so dire, why are so many companies still diving headfirst into this mess? The answer, as it so often does, lies not in the operational department, but on Wall Street. Behind this reckless wave of adoption is a powerful, market-driven pressure that rewards hype over substance. Analysts noticed a bizarre trend emerging in corporate earnings calls. Companies that simply mentioned the letters A and I saw their stock prices enjoy a short-term, often significant, spike. It didn't matter if their AI strategy was sound. It didn't matter if they had a single successful implementation. The mere mention of the buzzword was enough to excite investors and send the stock climbing. This phenomenon has been dubbed AI washing. It's a cynical game where companies exaggerate, or in some cases completely fabricate, their AI capabilities to appear innovative and attract investment capital. It's the 21st century version of putting a .com in your company name during the .com bubble. It's about crafting an image of progress, even when the reality is one of chaos and failure. Market analysts are now sounding the alarm, warning that this trend has created a dangerous illusion. Executives, terrified of being seen as behind the curve, are making rash decisions based on stock market optics rather than sound business strategy. They are chasing the temporary sugar high of a stock bump, even if it means gutting their workforce and crippling their operations in the long run. The pressure from investors to be an AI company has become so intense that the actual, on-the-ground results have become a secondary concern. This isn't innovation. It's a performance for an audience of shareholders, and the price of admission is the long-term health and stability of the company itself. Let's go back to that Orview report, the one that found 55% of executives regretted replacing staff with AI. The report dug deeper, asking a crucial follow-up question. Why did you do it? The answers reveal a shocking level of confusion and a profound lack of strategy at the highest levels of leadership. Many of these executives openly admitted that when they made the decision to lay off staff, they didn't actually know which roles would truly benefit from automation. They didn't have a detailed plan. They hadn't analyzed the workflows. They were essentially throwing darts at an org chart, driven by the vague mandate to incorporate AI and cut costs. It's an astonishing admission. They were firing people without understanding the full scope of their jobs, assuming a piece of software could seamlessly absorb a decade of human experience and institutional knowledge. CEO Oliver Shaw, An industry consultant quoted in the report put it bluntly: companies are learning the hard way that this approach is a recipe for disaster. He described a repeating pattern. A company fires a team of experienced logistic coordinators, replacing them with an AI promising to optimize supply chains. But the AI doesn't know how to handle a sudden port closure due to a storm, or how to negotiate with a difficult supplier, or how to creatively reroute a shipment to avoid a traffic snarl. Those are tasks that require human ingenuity and relationships. Without the humans to manage the exceptions, the entire workflow grinds to a halt. What started as a cost-saving measure quickly devolves into operational collapse. The initial savings from salaries are wiped out tenfold by supply chain failures, missed deadlines, and angry clients. This isn't a failure of AI technology itself. It's a failure of leadership, a failure of strategic thinking, and a tragic, costly misunderstanding of what a human workforce actually does. Beyond the corporate balance sheets and the broken operations, there is a profound and deeply personal toll. The relentless hype around AI isn't just creating bad business decisions. It's creating a pervasive culture of fear and anxiety in the workplace. A major study by Microsoft, a company at the forefront of the AI push, captured this emotional fallout. It found that 53% of employees, more than half the workforce, feel that the presence of AI forces them to constantly justify their existence, making them look replaceable. Another 45% live with the persistent fear of being fully replaced by automation. This isn't just vague unease. It's a daily, grinding anxiety that saps morale, stifles creativity, and turns the workplace into a source of stress rather than fulfillment. Employees are spending less time collaborating and more time worrying, constantly looking over their shoulder at the looming specter of their digital replacement. And this anxiety is backed by hard data. The fear is real because the threat is real. An analysis of employment trends between 2022 and 2025 revealed a chilling pattern. In industries heavily exposed to AI like tech, media, and customer service, overall employment has already dropped by 6%. But the truly devastating impact is on the next generation. For entry-level roles, the very jobs where young people get their start, learn their skills, and begin to build a career, the numbers are catastrophic. In these AI-exposed sectors, entry-level positions have plummeted by a staggering 20%. We are, in effect, pulling up the ladder behind us. The path that generations of workers have used to enter the professional world is being eroded, replaced by automated systems that offer no mentorship, no career growth, and no first chance. The fallout isn't just about lost jobs. It's about lost opportunities and a shrinking future for those just starting out. There's a fundamental difference between human error and machine error. When a person makes a mistake, it's usually isolated. It can be identified, corrected, and learned from. The system around them continues to function. But when a centralized AI system fails, it can be a single point of failure that brings an entire operation to its knees. When AI breaks, everything stops. We're seeing this in critical sectors where the stakes are life and death. In some hospitals that have rushed to implement AI for diagnostic imaging or patient administration, there have been terrifying incidents of patient misidentification or incorrect medical records being linked, leading to potentially fatal errors in treatment. A human nurse might mix up one chart. A flawed algorithm can mix up thousands simultaneously. The risks of this over-automation aren't new. We were warned about this years ago in one of the most famous manufacturing fiascos of the modern era. Back in 2017, Elon Musk attempted to create a fully automated, lights-out factory for the Tesla Model 3. It was meant to be a marvel of modern engineering, a place where robots built cars with minimal human intervention. It collapsed into a state of what Musk himself called production hell. The highly complex robots couldn't handle slight variations in parts. They couldn't problem solve on the fly, and they constantly broke down, causing massive bottlenecks. The factory floor, meant to be a silent, efficient machine, became a chaotic mess. The solution? Musk had to halt the automated line and bring the humans back. He hired hundreds of workers to do the jobs the robots had failed at. It was a humbling, expensive lesson in the limits of automation. In a famous tweet that still echoes through the tech world today, Musk admitted his folly with 4 simple words. Humans are underrated. He learned then what so many are learning now. You can't replace the adaptability, the problem-solving skills, and the resilience of a human being. The promise of AI was supposed to be about saving money, but for the vast majority of companies, it has become a financial black hole, with hidden costs that are spiraling out of control. First, there's the human cost, which has a direct financial impact. The same companies that used AI without proper oversight saw 22% more employee turnover. The remaining staff, overworked and demoralized, were more likely to quit. This, in turn, led to 18% higher recruitment costs, as they struggled to replace the talent they had so carelessly discarded. Then, there is the staggering cost of the hardware and energy required to run these massive AI models. This is a cost that is rarely mentioned in the glossy marketing brochures. Meta, for example, is building a system that will use an estimated 600,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. Each one of these chips costs around $30,000. Do the math. That's billions of dollars in hardware alone, before you even factor in the cost of building the data centers to house them. And the energy consumption is astronomical. The rapid growth of AI computing has already increased total US electricity usage by an estimated 4%. We are building a technology that demands an almost insatiable amount of power, putting a massive strain on our energy grid and contributing to a growing environmental crisis. Finally, the business model itself appears to be fundamentally unsustainable for many of the companies leading the charge. Consider OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. Their projected yearly expenses are a mind-boggling $28 billion, $13 billion. They are burning through cash at a rate that is simply not sustainable in the long term. This isn't a picture of a healthy, revolutionary industry. It's the picture of a speculative bubble, bloated by hype and investor cash, that is dangerously close to bursting. Now, after all of this doom and gloom, it's important to say that not all AI stories end in failure. There is a path to success. It's just not the one that makes the headlines. It's quieter, slower, and far more intelligent. The same MIT report that exposed the 95% failure rate also highlighted the 5% that are getting it right. And it found a clear, consistent pattern among the winners. They are not trying to boil the ocean. They aren't attempting to replace their entire workforce with a single godlike AI. Instead, the successful companies, often smaller startups, target one very specific problem. They identify a single, repetitive, data-heavy task within their workflow and find an AI tool that is specifically designed to solve that one problem, and that one problem only. Furthermore, they rarely try to build these complex systems themselves. The data shows that specialized AI implementations from trusted expert vendors succeed 67% of the time. In-house builds, attempted by companies without deep AI expertise, succeed only 33% of the time. The lesson is clear. Partner with experts who have already proven their technology. The winners in the AI space are not the ones who rush. They are the ones who integrate AI slowly, deliberately, and, most importantly, with constant human supervision. They treat AI not as a replacement for their workforce, but as a new, powerful tool to be placed in the hands of their trusted human employees. This brings us to the most important lesson of all. The real, tangible success stories in the world of AI are not about replacement. They are about augmentation. They are about using AI to empower employees, not to eliminate them. Look at a company like Unity, which provides tools for video game developers. They didn't fire their customer support team. Instead, they implemented an AI-assisted system. When a customer has a problem, the AI analyzes the query and suggests a few possible solutions to the human agent. The agent then uses their expertise and empathy to choose the best solution, personalize it, and deliver it to the customer. The result? Resolution times are faster, agents are less stressed, and customers are happier. Or take Hisco, a manufacturing supplier that integrated Microsoft's Copilot AI into its workflow. The AI doesn't make decisions. It saves time. It summarizes long email chains, drafts routine reports, and pulls up relevant data, freeing up human employees to focus on the things that truly matter. building relationships with clients, negotiating complex deals, and solving creative problems. In these models, efficiency rises, and so does job satisfaction. The AI handles the tedious, repetitive work, allowing humans to focus on the high-value, uniquely human tasks. Trust is preserved, both with customers and with employees. This is the true promise of AI, not as a rival to human intelligence, but as a powerful partner that amplifies our own capabilities. It's a tool, like a hammer or a spreadsheet, that when used correctly, makes us better, faster, and smarter at our jobs. So, as we stand at this critical juncture, the closing message becomes crystal clear. AI isn't the enemy. The technology itself holds incredible potential. The real enemy is poor implementation. The enemy is greed, hype, and a reckless desperation to please Wall Street at any cost. The technology works, but only when it is combined with strategic planning, thoughtful workforce training, and unwavering human oversight. The companies that are rushing in, driven by the illusion of stock market glory, are the ones burning billions of dollars, destroying customer trust, and leaving a trail of human and financial wreckage in their wake. The true path forward is not one of desperate, wholesale automation. It is a path of deliberate, careful, and human-centered integration. AI will undoubtedly reshape our world and our work, but it will be the thoughtful, the patient, and the wise who will ultimately turn its incredible potential into real, sustainable progress. The future doesn't belong to the fastest, it belongs to the smartest. The story of the great AI reckoning is still being written, and we all have a role to play in it. It forces us to ask some profound questions. What do we truly value in our work? What is the role of technology in our society? And how do we ensure that our pursuit of progress doesn't leave our humanity behind? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you seen reckless AI implementation in your own workplace? What's your biggest fear or your biggest hope when it comes to the future of AI and employment? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. I hope it gave you a new perspective on one of the most important stories of our time. And if you found this analysis valuable and want to continue exploring the real stories behind the headlines, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications. It truly helps the channel, and it ensures you won't miss our next investigation. Until next time.